Hello everyone. For today, I'm going to be making my babka. Every year at Easter, we look forward to having a feast, a Polish feast, with ham and kielbasa and rye bread and babka, of course. And this is a recipe that I created, but it's mostly based on my bachi's babka. I remember her setting out eggs and butter in the morning and wondering why I was going to sit there all day. And later she'd make a big batch of babka, and I used to watch her make it on other cakes too. But this is my version of what is a little bit different than hers. Hers was a bread, more of a bread, traditional, and I always liked the cream filling from the store bought babka, and so I found a way to incorporate both, and this is my recipe. I'll include a link to the recipe down below, and I wanted to make this so that anybody can do it. I'm not sure why the audio crapped out here, but list of supplies is included in the recipe. You need some eggs and butter. Leave them out in the morning so that they become room temperature by the time you're using it. You need a lot of flour, a lot of sugar, breadcrumbs. You'll need breadcrumbs for the pan. Milk. You need a little bit of milk. We'll talk about that later. Cinnamon, lemon. We're going to put some zest of lemon in there, give it a nice flavor. Yeast. Look for a package. You use the fast rising yeast and follow the directions on the package. Everything else you should have in your kitchen. Start with the egg yolks. We need 4 egg yolks. I think everybody knows how to separate the eggs just to get the yolk. Put them to the side. So here's the scalded milk. Scalded milk is a different flavoring and makes the bread lighter. So what you do is take a cup of milk, put it on a burner, put it on high, and you're going to try and bring it to a boil, but you're going to remove it just when it becomes hot enough to start boiling. Trick is to keep stirring it, because if not, it becomes a real mess in the pan. So heat the pan up a little bit before you start, pour the milk in, and keep stirring and stirring and stirring. Right before it comes to a boil, you're going to remove it. There's our salt and some 4 egg yolks. Just beat it up pretty good. Blend it before it goes in the rest. So now you want to prepare your yeast and just follow the directions of whatever yeast you use. This one says use 110 degree water, which is most of the time what's coming out of your hot tap. So I just run in the tap for as long as I can. Got 110 degree, a quarter cup of it. Then you can just add it to the yeast and stir that up. And you're going to let this sit on the side anyway after you stir it all up, just making sure it's all mixed up. So now we're going to let that yeast sit for about 5 minutes. While we're doing that, I'll beat these eggs and salt into the butter and sugar that we already have. Okay, now that we have that mixed up a little bit, we're going to add the half teaspoon of cinnamon. You can always add a little more. And then we're going to add the zest of a lemon. You just take it to a grater and just kind of grate the skin of a whole lemon. I don't use a whole lemon, but the recipe says a whole lemon. Gives a nice lemony taste. And once we mix it up, it won't taste like skin. It becomes tender once it's baked. I just get all the good stuff off it. Alright. Then we're going to add our yeast. Now we're going to add our flour and our scorched milk. And you can't add it all at one time because the flour will bog it down. It's going to become thick because this is for bread. So we're going to add a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, and just alternate so we don't kill our mixer. Our scorched milk. You can hear our motor bogging down, so we're going to switch to hand mixing, but we're going to get as much as we can blended. Alright, we'll get most of it off here. Yeah, smell the motor cooking, so it's about that time. Now we switch to old school and we mix it. I use a spoon to get most of it in there. But this is a bread, so it's meant to be kneaded. Kneaded, K-N-E-A-D. E-D. So I'm just getting most of the flour in the mixture. You don't have to use your hands, but eventually I'll switch over to hands. It's going to be sticky. I have to add a little more flour to your hands so it doesn't stick to your hands. I can do most of it with the spoon here. You can switch to a good wooden spoon or whatever works for you. Most of it's already mixed up. But you're trying to end up with a ball, so it's nice to scrape all the stuff you have on the sides. You can work it too much, so you don't want to go crazy. You don't have to beat this for hours. So I scraped it all in the bottom of the bowl. Now I'm just trying to scrape it from sticking to all the sides. So basically you're going to stir this butter and flour sugar mixture until it becomes crumbs like you'd see on a crumb cake. It takes a lot of stirring, but that's why you use the cold butter, because the cold butter chops up a little easier and the flour and sugar sticks to it. So keep stirring that, then put it to the side. We're going to put that on top before it goes in the oven. Here we're checking in on the bread dough to see if it's rising. We already punched a hole in it about an hour ago, and we're just checking it. It looks like it's thickening the batch. Put that to the side. Okay, here we're going to butter and flour the pan. I use the split type of cake pan. You can use any kind of cake pan, but I like the hole in the middle. It makes it bake better throughout. I sprayed the corner with oil just because I like to make sure every nook and cranny is covered. Then we're going to come back with butter the pan, and instead of flour, we're going to use breadcrumbs. I think everybody's done this before. So here we've taken out the dough, and now we're going to knead it. We're going to make it fit our pan, and we're going to be able to put cream in there. So it has to be about, think about how wide your pan is. Then you'll have to make it that long because you're going to make a big giant donut out of it. So I'm just kneading it, and I'm going to move it in this place, and then you'll see that we make it wide enough, long enough so it wraps around the pan, wide enough so we can roll some cream in the middle. So I'm using the roller, but you don't want to work it too much. You just want to make it a good size space you can work with. Now we're going to take our cream cheese filling that we had sitting aside, and we're going to spread it all in the middle. You want to make a kind of lumpy in the middle. You don't want to spread it out too thin. You want to make a big thick roll right in the middle, because we're going to roll the sides over it, and then we're going to twist it into the pan. Here's the pan. Here we are. I'm taking the sides and I'm kind of folding them over to cover the cream. Kind of making one big tube. Now I'm making one big donut. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to flop it right into the pan, the bread pan. Boom. Oh, now we can work it a little bit while it's in there. I'm going to make, I make a little crease in the middle all the way around like that. Now we're going to take our breadcrumb filling, our topping, and kind of spoon it on top. Make sure it gets down below the sides, and that's all butter.